Hey you guys, my name is Nicole, also known as Chef Boy or Gay. I've decided to start this little YouTube channel. My three big passions in life are cooking, hunting, and fishing. So I'm dedicated to posting a weekly, if not bi-weekly, video or episode, if you will, of me combining those three passions, whether it's a hunting video, a fishing video, cooking video, or a mix of everything, showing you what I'm going to be cooking after a hunt or a fish, or just straight up cooking because I just love gourmet cooking in general. If I get beautiful cuts of meat or fish, I'm just gonna have you guys join me on this wonderful journey that I'm about to partake. Welcome to episode 1, where it is St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, one of my favorite days. I'm not Irish, I'm actually Polish, but I have a big affinity for Irish culture. I love the music, I love the food. So today, not only are we going to be drinking our green beer, or whiskey, according to my shirt, we'll also be making a Irish stew, not a traditional Irish stew, because I like to put a wild game spin on everything. We will be making an Irish stew with venison meat that has been gifted to me. So the first thing we're going to do is give our meat a little bit of a flour coating with salt and pepper, because we have to brown it first, so that makes it easier to brown. So a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of flour, and then we're going to mix that around, give it a nice coating on all of it. So now the next step, we've got our oil in the pan. It's heated, I guess in the pot in this case, and we're going to brown our meat in batches. We don't want to overcrowd the pan, so we put our meat in, and we're going to brown it a bit. We've got our plate off to the side because you can't brown it all at once. If you overcrowd the pan, it will not brown properly. So start by doing that. Get nice separation. So now all our meat is done, and just so you guys know, this is about 2 pounds of venison meat. And again, you can substitute this for beef, lamb, goose, kind of any dark red meat that you really like. And either way, it's going to make a delicious stew. So now I'm just going to add a little bit more oil. And then the next step we're going to do is we're going to add our onions. Get the onions going, and we're going to start cooking those. And those take about 2 minutes in the oil. So we'll get those on. And there we go. Alright, so we've got our onions nice and brown. We're at about a medium heat right now. And now what we're going to do next is add our garlic. We've got 3 or 4 cloves, maybe 5. I like garlic, so I'm not really counting. I'm going to throw that in there and give that a good minute cooking to release the aroma and all the tasty goodness of garlic. I love garlic. Alright, so we're going to put in our veggies next. We've got about half a bag of the baby potatoes, white potatoes. You can use the big Yukon or white potatoes, just use 4 or 5 of them and cut them up into small pieces. And then we got our celery, which is about 4 or 5 stalks, because they weren't big stalks, so I had to use small stalks. So we've got that. And then we've got 3 or 4 nice big carrots in here that we're about to add to the stew. Here we go. We're going to get all these veggies in, and then we're going to cook them down for about 5 minutes so they can get the taste of the onion and the garlic all up in there. We're going to get lots of good veggies and taste going here. Now we'll cook for about 5 minutes. So our veggies have been cooking for about 5 minutes now. So what we're going to do is add our Guinness tall can, 473 milliliters. We're going to add that to our pot, and that will deglaze it. And what that does is it brings up all the bits that have attached to the bottom of the pot that's probably been cooking a little bit. That's going to give us some extra flavor. Once we do that, we're going to bring it to a rapid boil. So here we go. We're pouring our big old pints of Guinness in, and we're going to get that deglazing the pan a bit. Take all the bottom feeders off. Okay, that's it. We're going to turn it up a little bit to medium-high to make sure that comes to a rapid boil. And then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. So we'll let that sit for a second, and then we'll come back. Alright, so our Guinness has now come to a rapid boil, so we're going to add our meat back in. Just get all that goodness back going. There we go. Lots of beautiful meat. Alright, gonna give that a quick stir. And now what we're gonna do is we are going to add a full cup of beef broth. There goes in there. And then we're also gonna add a 1/4 cup of tomato paste. Get that all in there. And then finally, we're gonna add about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons, maybe a little more, of Worcestershire sauce. And then we're gonna stir all that in there. Mix it all up nicely. Then we'll bring that to a boil, lower it to just a minimum heat, and then it's gonna simmer for 2 hours. Alright, so our stew's been simmering for a couple hours now, and while it's finishing up, we're going to put some final touches in. We're going to toast some crusty bread to give it a nice crunch to dip into our stew, so I'm just going to cut off some pieces here. Our oven is preheating to 450, so make some nice big slices. Throw those on there. A little bit of real butter. And then we will just pop that into the oven just until they're good and toasted. Taking our bread out, that's beautifully toasted right there. Look at how delicious that looks. Alright, we're now ready to serve, so we're going to take our bowl. Give a nice big old couple hearty scoops of stew. Sit down with our bread. And boom, that is my version of Irish stew with venison and crusty bread. Happy St. Patties Day, guys. Cheers.